mean, I think the birthday party was more of a kind of almost a conceptual sort of statement. It was very much a kind of package, and a kind of package of aggression and violence, and that sort of thing. And the Bad Seeds are far more kind of far more concerned with exploring musical avenues. I think I work best and I'm at my happiest when I'm working, and I tend to get most out of things when I've done it by myself, or that I'm working by myself. I think I tend to use, quite possibly, I use a lot of my kind of solo pursuits as kind of, yeah, just as escapes from the more kind of mundane things in life. So I tend to avoid those sorts of things. The way the public responds to me is something that's almost a kind of almost sort of almost accidental, or it's almost a byproduct of my kind of desperately trying to please myself on stage. And I mean, very often when we come off stage, we can come off to a kind of resounding applause and so forth. But you know, in my own heart, I can feel that it was sort of the most miserable sort of concert we've done, or whatever. And I don't really get that much kind of time to sort of examine, to feel how the audience is actually. I mean, what I'm trying to say is that I have to work with myself first, and to kind of be happy with it myself. I mean, I've been described as a lot of things, and I've had a lot of labels put on me that I wouldn't care to kind of bandy out, really. And one of them is genius. I mean, I don't really understand what that means. I mean, I don't just feel misrepresented by what's, by the bad press that's written about me. It's the good stuff as well. I mean, the stuff that, you're supposed to pin on your bedroom wall and that sort of stuff. Basically, it all just makes me sick, really. I haven't really had enough experience in films. I've only had really one acting role. I mean, I'd like to work more on that. I feel most comfortable writing, because I mean, to write is a solitary kind of thing. It's something that's where you're just dealing with your own feelings, and you're not under the same kind of pressures, and you can draw things at your own pace, and it's not, you're not sort of stuck somewhere. Like right now, for example, I'm sort of stuck in a chair, and I have to kind of come up with, some sort of, whatever. And, to write, it's something that's done solitary and you can do at your own pace. And also, I find that a lot of people kind of respect that. I mean, they respect the kind of privacy that you need to write and that sort of thing. And so I can just spend a lot of time by myself.
Well, what's the state of play with the name now? I mean, it's the birthday party you've been establishing overseas, but it's still the Boys Next Door sort of in subtitles here. Is that something you're going to keep, or
well, what? I would have liked to have omitted the subtitles. I don't think it's really necessary for a start, and it's just confusing and prolongs the sort of confusion.
One of the things I suppose I'd be interested in talking about is what's been released over in England. Has the single, the 3-track single which came out here on 4AD, has that been released over there?
Yeah. That was our second London single. The first one was Mr. Clarinet,
which we put out ourselves.
The way we did it was to go over there unknown, release a single entirely by ourselves, and hopefully it would incite a bit of interest, which it did. And we did a one-off record deal with 4AD, which were our terms, and that's our second one. And now we're back here to record an album. And AD, the same company, are very interested in it, and they seem to do a good job with the last one. So they'll probably release it unless someone.
What was the sort of interest in the singles?
The Friendcatcher single came in at number 3 in the NME alternative charts, which surprised me no end. But then again, in the sounds charts, it came in at about number 31, which seems to be a little confusing.
Yeah, but the man from 4AD was very surprised at the amount it sold. All the success we had there was generally due to our records as opposed to the live thing.
The success of the Friendcatcher single, I would imagine, was largely based on John Peel playing it continuously, almost to the point of people criticising him.
The Peel shows, I'm not sure, they have a massive sort of listening crowd to them, so they're a real lot of help. And I think anyone who generally listens to sort of new music generally listens to John Peel. I'm not sure, but
yeah, that seems to be the case. I mean, I noticed that when Small Wonder sort of decided to pretty much go out of business as a record label, they said one of the reasons is if it's this unfortunate situation, if Peel doesn't play your record, it's not going to sell because no one's going to hear it.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's rather a difficult position for him to be in. But when he picks someone up and sort of champions them, well, it really does help, and it seems to have helped in you guys' case.
Yes, he was very kind.
I don't know whether he tends to kind of deliberately help the underdog, or whether he played other Australian stuff too, I hear.
Let's talk about England. Obviously, one of the impetus for going over there is that you felt that your music would be quite acceptable to what's going on there, and so I just wonder, when you got there, how you felt about that, how you saw yourselves fitting in.
It took about 3 months or so to. We went through a bit of a shock when we got there, and it took about 3 months or even maybe 4 to get any confidence back. Our initial performances were fairly sort of entirely unsatisfactory, but by the end of it they'd improved a lot, and we'd gotten back and into the run of things, and then we came back home, unfortunately.
Although, generally I found the groups over there live very disappointing in their performance and attitude towards playing live. They were very unexciting as a whole. There was a very small few that were good.
Well, it strikes me one of the things about England is that bands don't get to play a real lot.
The thing is, yes, that they just don't want to. The English are such a lazy nation that they choose to play once every month or once every 2 months, and we were used to playing 3 times a week or at least twice a week. And I really felt like I just wasn't in the group at all most of the time, because you would spend, we played about 10 times for the whole time we were there.
But it is at the same time it is very difficult to get gigs there, particularly when you are. Initially, we had to go around to the different places, just to the venues, and say we'd like to play there. And first of all, they'd never heard us, and secondly, we were Australian, and both of those things really worked against us. The rock gardens helped us quite a bit, and we played there. And after that got around, then we got a lot more gigs after that.
Was that basically your mode of operation? You just have to go along in front to them and say, look, this is our records and stuff?
That's what everyone does. You just have to send them a tape or a record, and if they like it, they'll put you on, basically.
Yes, except we had no one behind us. I mean, most groups who go to London from Australia have a record company behind them, and they stay in hotels and they wait for the people who are working for them to do all that sort of thing.
Or they have a tour lined up before they go, whereas
we just had to go around with a tape or a record in our hand and sort of do it in that fashion.